Alright, looks like we are at the top of the hour. Let's get this call underway. And good morning, Zija Nation, for this Monday. Go Diamond Focus call. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for the last 2 weeks for not being present on the call, but hopefully somebody took the call over. I know that we've got quite a few people online today, even though it is a holiday down in the United States. So for those online for Memorial Day, welcome. Lots to catch up on, lots going on in Zija, as we all know. We have a number of events that are launching that are all part and parcel of going into the summer, leading into convention. We're kind of on the, I guess everything leads into convention ultimately. All of the activities that we do in terms of the rhythm of the business are all about starting with, an exposure. Exposures lead to appointments. Appointments lead to presentations. Presentations lead to sponsoring, whether that be one-on-one, PBRs, local events, Super Saturdays. But in the end, every single activity that we do in network distribution, in network marketing, ultimately leads to the next event. And of course, the ultimate event in any network distribution company is usually its annual convention. And that is the event that brings all activities and all events together. Of course, Zija's national convention or international convention, as we all know, was announced just a few weeks ago. The registration page went up. Hotels are already filling up in Salt Lake City. People are booking now. And the smart ones are booking now. The procrastinators will wait, and then when the time comes for them to book, they'll find that it's difficult to get a room, certainly close to the event. And just as we had last year, some will be booking a hotel that'll require a short cab ride. There will be upwards of 5,000 people at this year's convention. That is twice the size of last year's convention. And so if there's anybody new on the line today, or anybody that did not attend last year's convention, then certainly take a look at the recap video and picture that event at twice the size. And you'll get an idea of what that's going to look like in a relatively small city. And so all of the local hotels and motels will pretty well be all Zija that weekend in Salt Lake City. Of course, there will be tours and bus tours to the manufacturing facility, a number of different trainings and so forth. All kinds of great things happening at this year's event. This year's event promises to be bigger and better and greater than last year's event. And so, speaking of that, we should all be in the mindset and should all be in the mode of encouraging our organization to be there, having more people there than we had there last year, having some guests there quite possibly. And we should be building towards that. We should be doing that like yesterday, like the day before yesterday, actually. So the sense of urgency is as urgent as anything that we do in Zija International for a couple of reasons. Of course, the most obvious and practical one is to be sure that we get premium location. It's nice to be in a couple of the major hotels, the Marriott being one of the best, the downtown Marriott, because you come out of the doors of the Marriott and you walk across the street into the convention. I mean, that is ideal. And of course, most of the top leaders stay there, and the corporate staff and so forth. And the reason they do is that they book immediately, like the day before yesterday. And so anybody that has any intention at all of being at this year's event, why wait? Get your registration done. If you haven't done it, do it while we're on this call. Go to the ZG Events page and register. Just get it done. Just do it. Use your zip points. If you have zip points, you can use the zip points to pay for the registration. And so, there's another benefit that you have. Get your registration done, get your hotel booked, and get yourself locked in. Most importantly, and even more importantly, is get all of your team members booked and get them locked in now, sooner than later, so that you have a premium location, a premium spot at the event. Now, speaking of that, everything that we are doing between now and convention should always have convention as part of the promotion. So, Super Saturdays, local events, ongoing sponsoring, so forth, communications, and everything else that we do should be heavily promoting convention starting right now. So we have a Super Saturday coming up here in Toronto. June the 14th would be the reception, the gold reception, and the Super Saturday will be June the 15th. Of course, at that event, we will use that event as a springboard, as a launch point for the convention, and increase the numbers. Last year in Canada, we had a chartered aircraft coming out of Calgary or out of Edmonton on the West Coast. There's a good chance we'll be chartering a second aircraft this year from the East Coast. So we'll do two of those, John. So you won't have to fly out west to get on the charter aircraft. We can do it right here from Toronto. So we're expecting, like I said, a major event this year. For those that were at last year's, you know that it was really a spectacular, well-done event. Best event that Siege has ever done. And so, of course, the company has to top last year's event. So all stops are going to be pulled out this year in order to do that, especially with 5,000 people. That is a pretty big ballroom, a pretty big stage setup. It is definitely of a world-class size. And so, really, I guess the theme for this week / going forward over the summer should be to remind everybody and to be cognizant of the fact that there is a rhythm in our business, an ongoing rhythm. That rhythm it never really changes. That rhythm is always present in everything somebody is doing that is effective in that business. The rhythm overlaps, and what I mean by overlaps is it is a closed loop of activity. Okay, so let's just go through this rhythm. And we all know the rhythm, but it's good to repeat it, and it's good to sort of vision it so that you can see the rhythm without even, that you can see it in your mind's eye. And so what is the rhythm of building a successful network distribution business, one that self-perpetuates, grows by itself, and is robust? What is that rhythm? Very simple. The rhythm is all about consistent, persistent activities in terms of a closed system. Okay? So that rhythm is we are always planting seeds. So we're always sowing. Sowing is basically prospecting. We're always prospecting by presenting. We always have prospects to because we're always, and should be always, in the exposure mode. Okay, so we're always a billboard, we're always an advertisement for our product and our business and time freedom and financial independence and residual income, becoming debt-free and so forth. So we're always in that mode. We're always listening for those signs. And so as long as we are continually exposing people, we continually have people to present to. As long as we're presenting, we have a continuous flow of new customers, new distributors, and ultimately new leaders that will emerge. As those people are joining, we are showing them and teaching them that same process, and teaching them by the way in which we sponsor them. That's probably one of the main ways we teach people, and that is by what we in fact do. Those people then go on to continue to plug into that system, introduce others via, again, one-on-one calls, three-way calls, PBRs, local events, and or Super Saturdays, and we continue to build through that process. And while we are doing a Super Saturday, there's more exposures that are going on, right? Exposures at the event itself for the new guests, people that are looking for the first time, people that are getting trained for the first time. At the Super Saturday, there are veterans, people who have been to training a number of times and are now starting to participate at some level at the event. And so they are starting the process of actually maybe being the presenter or being the trainer. And so that's, again, all part of a rhythm in the business, and a perpetual rhythm that's layered on top of each other. Over time, some of those presenters, some of those leaders who really focus, who really develop, who really grow, will ultimately find themselves one day at the convention. They'll find themselves at the convention, and some of those people will find themselves up on stage, rank advancing to the next level, to higher levels. And at some point, a few people will find themselves at some of the highest levels in the business. And so, you know, what makes that difference? What makes the difference for those that will go to the highest levels? I guess it, you know, we'll kind of go to a little bit of a different topic here, a different segue. Yes, the activity which ultimately leads to the productivity is paramount. As you've often heard me say, action supersedes everything. Yes, it does. Okay? The actions that we take will ultimately make the difference in terms of results. Now, taking action beats everything. Okay? I mean, we can study, learn, and go through personal development and do all of that, but without the action component, nothing's going to happen, obviously. So we must be taking action. That's paramount. But in the end, assuming we're taking action, and all things being equal, you're taking action, I'm taking action, people on our team are taking action, then what makes the difference at that point? Well, at that point, personal development does make the difference. In fact, it makes all the difference. Makes the biggest difference. And so what really separates those that, those of us who will excel, those of us who will advance, is the commitment to our own personal growth, our own personal development. And, what is personal development? It is a refinement. It is a refinement of our character. It is a refinement of skills. It is a refinement of our charisma, of our presentation, of our people skills. It is a refinement of our emotional makeup, so to speak, how we respond to challenges, how we respond to negative, skeptical people, how we deal with people in general, how do we deal with people who are difficult, do we move, do we inspire the best in others, do we do we focus on the negative? Do we tend to criticize, or do we tend to always find the positive in other people's actions and other people's daily activities? Are we able to always keep people in an inspired upward spirit? That makes a huge difference. Those that work on themselves, work on their skill sets in all these different areas, because personal development is not one specific area. There's development in terms of leadership, there's development in terms of finances, there's development in terms of personal disciplines, there's development in terms of mindset. Are we always in a certain mindset? There's development in terms of a variety of different skill sets and so forth. So it is an overall all-encompassing area that we deal with when we talk about personal development, and it is the common thread that separates top business leaders from everybody else. So what books are we reading every single day? What DVDs, what CDs, what speakers, what trainings and so forth are we engaged in order to keep ourselves sharp, in order to advance ourselves in terms of our own personal growth, our own personal development? So we should be asking ourselves these questions so that we can take inventory, so that we can kind of locate where we are at any given moment in time, to make sure that we're on that track. Certainly, everybody who is diligent on being as an example on one of these calls each morning, whether it be a focus call or whether it be a local event, Super Saturday, or any of the conference calls, or any place that you're hearing somebody train or speak on a particular topic, obviously that's a person who is committed to their success. They're certainly putting in the time to, in terms of gaining the knowledge and the wisdom and the experience. The question that one must ask is it idle time? Is it still time? Well, it's one thing to listen. We learn when we listen. But when we help and show another person, when we share, we grow. Okay? So if we learn and we're in attendance, we will learn. We will learn by just simply listening, being present. But we will grow. We will develop beyond learning, beyond just the information, when we put it into action, when we help another person, when we teach another person, when we become the person conveying that message. In the beginning, we're just kind of regurgitating, what we've experienced, what we've heard. But over time, that sort of regurgitation becomes our own. It becomes our own thesis, so to speak, where we incorporate it into who we are and our own personal actions. So the highest levels of personal development is someone that, we've all heard the fully actualized person. Well, it's really somebody that has fully integrated the things that they've learned over time. It could be something just as simple as how to dress, making sure our shoes are shut, being aware of our presence, the clothes we wear, how we carry ourselves. All of that creates our charisma, creates our aura, creates that image, both physically and spiritually, and in ways that really that attract other people. Okay, that attract other people. So if we're going to lead, obviously, we want to be somebody that others will aspire to. Okay, and so there are many, many areas in that. And so personal development it's a big topic. It's a lifelong topic and endeavor. It's not something that we arrive at one day. You know, I'm now fully personally developed. No, it's something that we are constantly working on, constantly refining, constantly developing. Okay, and so, you know, why do our kids go to, you know, kindergarten, public school, middle school, high school, you know, college or university? You know, we spend 1/3 of our lives, 1/3, just in getting ready, to go into the workforce. I mean, think about that. An entire third, by the time a person actually goes into the working world or starts doing life, you know, we're 25, right? If we've done a little bit of education beyond high school, so we're 1/3, you know, 1/3 the way to 75, all that time is spent in the basics of personal development, getting educated, getting a foundation, learning how to learn. And so in our business, network distribution, it's just an extension of that, but at the highest levels, right? It's not just theory and or a particular profession or a particular skill set or job. No, it is. It encompasses everything. The entire person, our entire being, is raised to a new level. Our awareness of everything is raised to a new level. That's what personal development is all about, and that's what network marketing is all about. So they say that, you know, network distribution is the ultimate game in life. And the reason it is because it is a business that is pretty well solely based on relationships, business of people, as we all know. It's not really about the product. It's not about the compensation plan. It's not about Ken Brailsford or any business leader in Zija. It's not about any of our marketing tools. It is all about, and 100% about, our interpersonal skills. How we work with ourselves and work with others, and what we do to develop a culture and a team spirit, a camaraderie that is empowering and inspiring for others to grow and develop. And when we have that incorporated into the fiber of our business will grow. We will successfully create a network distribution organization that's loaded with leaders that are emerging and so forth. And so it is all about, ladies and gentlemen, it is all about personal development when the dust settles. We need to take the action steps to get started. I certainly did. You know, when I got involved in the industry in December 1989, I came out of the gates running. I was doing everything that needed to be done. My results were not great. In fact, I would say I didn't really have any results at all in the beginning. And the main reason for that is I certainly had a lot of action steps. I certainly did the do things, but I didn't have the refinement. I didn't have the personal development to pull it all together. So I was basically sheer enthusiasm, lots of energy, lots of hard work, lots of desire, but I had not mastered not just the skills, but the ability to pull it all together. eventually the business became second nature. That same process holds true for every single person. This is not, this is not a benefit or limited to a select few. This is available to everybody, but it's only available to those that in fact employ some of those disciplines, and those disciplines being continuing to advance and refine ourselves. And really that leads us to being, the simple word of being teachable, being coachable. Are we open and willing to receive feedback? Are we open and willing to receive coaching? Are we able to take a critical look at ourselves and some of our activities and demeanor or temperament in the process of developing our business? So, that's sort of a lot of topics today that we covered. But in the end, when we look at the centerpiece of network distribution, the International Convention, we see, it's a place for us to gather to see all of these rhythms converging, and how personal development shows up in the lives of others and the success of others. And one of the reasons that most people are so gratified when they go to a convention and see, in the beginning, it's all about us. We want to get our new pen, our rank advancement. We want to get acknowledged. We want that fulfillment, that validation for ourselves. And once we have that, once we've achieved that, we find that it's actually, we've all heard this before, it's less about our success, our validation, our acknowledgement, and it's all about the acknowledgement, success, and validation of others, people on our team and people from other teams. And why is it all about that? Because there's something gratifying, there's something fulfilling at the highest level when we see other people have success, when we see other people who we know have grown personally, who we know from working with them, that they came into the business and they had a hard time even talking to anybody. They couldn't sponsor anybody. And they stuck around, and over time they grew and developed, and we go to a convention a year later, 2 years later, in some cases 3 or 4 years later. We go to that convention and we see them up on stage, and all of a sudden they are a completely different person. And we have watched and witnessed and been a part of that growth. That's when we see the full manifestation of personal development and how that can affect a person, not just in business but in life. And so that is the beauty of not only a convention. It's that's why I say, people say, I don't need to go there. I've got the vision. No, you can't have that vision. You can't have that experience, and you can't give it away and share it with another person unless you're there. Well, if you got the vision, you need to be there to give it to someone that doesn't. Right? If you don't have that vision, you need to be there to get it from someone that does. And so make sure, as we've come to the end of this call, that everybody is focused on that aspect coming up at every event and every activity that we do going forward. And also, this week should be the week where the art of network distribution is launched, and that is the 10-hour series that I put together so those that want to go on an accelerated learning path of both skill set and or personal development, at least from what I can contribute, that'll be available, and it'll be kind of a mobile library. I believe it's going to be in a downloadable form, so we're moving moving into the next level of growth. See, everybody can personally develop and go beyond physical CDs and have something that you can load right onto your smartphone or onto an iPod, etc., and listen to it at your leisure, anywhere, anytime, on a variety of topics. So with that, everybody, any announcements from the field? If there's anybody, I know there's a new moderator code, so not everybody may have it. I'll open the lines, and we can keep the background noise to 0. We might be able to hear. Hold on. Any announcements?
David, this is Hazel Harry in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, Hazel. Look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Absolutely, sir. And I want to announce and remind everyone that we're having Gold Rush here in Atlanta this Friday and Saturday. It's going to be featuring our Crown Diamond Reef. His name is David Moses from Toronto, Canada. Of course, you just heard. And also Black Diamond, Mike Sims, Double Diamond, Tony Fleming, and many other leaders. You can go to CaesarEvents.com and register to be there this Friday night for Gold Mingle and Saturday for the Gold Rush event. It's going to be a spectacular event, so please be there. Thank you very much, David, and I'll see you then.
All right, Hazel, see you Friday. Anybody else? All right, well then I'll take the liberty to promote the Toronto event coming up in a couple of weeks. The gold reception for Toronto will be at my residence. So we're doing a special gold event here at the house, golds and above, with their guests. Now all golds are welcome, so it doesn't matter. I'm assuming not all golds will show up, otherwise we'll have a problem. But I'm going to just say that if you're from out of town, you happen to be in town, you're welcome to attend. It will be a fully catered event, and waitresses and waiters, and in the backyard, in the house, and it'll be a nice evening. And so that'll be on the Friday night here in Toronto. That's where the reception will be. And if you want to call it Gold Mingle, Hazel, that works for me too. And then of course, on the Saturday, we've got the full event with corporate and a number of leaders that are coming in. There are 5,000 tickets circulating and promises to be a big event. So with that, everybody, listen, have a great week, have a successful week, and continued success. Be sure to register for convention if you haven't. Do not wait. Just get it done. Just do it. Do it right now. And then you will be able to promote and get others to do it in, obviously, a much more powerful and effective way. So thanks, everybody. Catch you on the MIT call tonight, and continued success. The lines are open.
Well, pardon.
Thanks, Dave.
David D. Shaw for South Georgia, Green, Kentucky. Oh, girl, I'm here to California, great call. Thank you.